you have a friend or do you know anybody who can eat pasta and pizza and just not gain weight? That you know that friend that you have that can just like they seem to be able to eat whatever they want and they just don't put on weight. Okay, well that person, your friend or whoever that person is that you have in mind right now, you're like, oh yeah, that person. They are called an ectomorph. So an ectomorph is a specific body type that does very, very well with high carbohydrate diets. So ectomorphs are born with a body type where their metabolism is efficient, but more importantly than that, their insulin system is very, very efficient, which means that they process and metabolize carbohydrates very well. So the typical characteristics of an ectomorph would be having long, lean kind of limbs and slight joints. And what makes them so carb friendly is that they were literally born with a pancreas that has a very, very effective insulin system. So when they eat carbohydrates, when an ectomorph eats carbohydrates, their body knows exactly how to process those carbohydrates and turn it into usable energy. So it's not likely to get stored as body fat. Their energetic system is very, very efficient at processing carbohydrates, which is great for them. But this is exactly why not every diet works for every body. So it's not just every body is different. And this is very important to understand because if you just take little tidbits of information about one diet that maybe a friend had success with, well, that friend might have been an ectomorph, so they will thrive on a high carb diet. I know some high carb vegans, for example, and they can just eat fruit all day. Whatever they want, they can just eat in the form of carbohydrates. Whether it's even high sugar carbohydrates or complex, kind of low sugar carbohydrates, they can eat it all and it doesn't affect their body fat. It doesn't affect their metabolism. And that's incredible, but it's just not for everybody. For example, if I ate the way my high carb vegan friends ate, I would be huge. I would just gain fat nonstop every day. I would just pile on more and more weight because my body does not have an insulin system that is as efficient as theirs is because they're a different body type. And it's really important for everybody to understand. So where you will thrive as far as nutrition depends a lot on what body type you are. So if you are carb sensitive, so this is the other body type. There's ectomorph, which is the lean, the lanky, and very fast sugar metabolism, very fast carbohydrate metabolism, and very good response to carbohydrates in their system. Then there's my body type, for example, mesomorph. Mesomorph means that we are more naturally kind of muscular just by nature. So even in high school, before I started working out, I had muscles. It's just the way I'm built. My father was built like a Spartan warrior. He like came out of the womb with muscles. I saw pictures of him when he was young. I was like, wow. Even before he worked out too. So naturally, a mesomorph will have wider shoulders, smaller waist, and just more kind of dense muscular. Now, mesomorphs are not as, we can gain fat easy, but we can also lose fat easy. And we are pretty good with metabolism. Metabolism works fine. The sugar metabolism is efficient, mostly because we have more muscle, so that requires more glycogen storage. And so we do well with carbs, but not that well. So we couldn't get away with the pasta and the pizza or the super high fruit diet or whatever it is that a high carb vegan would do or a high carb anybody would do. If you're an ectomorph and a mesomorph, your diets are definitely going to want to be different. Now, moving over to the next body type, there's endomorph. Now, endomorph are, you can consider naturally more pear-shaped. So wider hips, more of a thick build. I'll give you an example for the ladies. Ecto usually means skinny. Meso usually means muscular. Endo does not mean fat. It does not mean overweight. It just means more prone to putting on weight and just a slower metabolic system in general. But example, Beyonce, beautiful physique, and she is an endomorph. Marilyn Monroe, another great example of a fantastically shaped woman who is an endomorph. So there you see, endomorph does not mean big. It does not mean overweight. It just means a little bit more curvy and not definitely not lanky. So looking at these three body types, we can see that every body type needs a different carbohydrate tolerance. So everybody's body will process these foods in a different way. And if you're an endomorph body type, then carbs really do not agree with you very well. Simply put, you were born with a pancreas that does not have an efficient insulin response, meaning that every time you eat carbohydrates, your body says, what is this? I cannot process all this. So imagine a lifetime for an endomorph that's been just living off what we're all living off to grow up is dairy, grains, and sugar. These three things over the course of a lifetime will just stress your system out. And you just weren't built to have this much pileup of carbohydrates over and over and over. And so finally, your metabolism slows down, you start to put on weight, and then your insulin becomes even more desensitized. And then that's when you're at risk for, of course, obesity, metabolic failure, and diabetes. So you need to be aware of what body type you are, and then you can really, really kind of pinpoint what diet is most suitable for you. That's a really important piece of information to understand for yourself because you are unique. Everybody is different, and everybody will respond to diets in a different way depending on what your metabolic condition is currently and what body type you were born with naturally.